Hi everyone, I'm Courtney. This video is to help you learn English. Listen to this video to improve your English. This method is called comprehensible input. Today, I'm answering a question from one of you. The question is, what languages are you interested in learning? This is a very good question, and honestly, I'm not sure I know the answer. Right now, I'm learning Spanish. Learning Spanish has been a very fun process for me. Sometimes it's a little bit frustrating because it's hard, but it's mostly fun. I would say right now I'm at an intermediate level of Spanish. I have a lot of vocabulary, but I don't have the best grammar. Learning Spanish has made me become interested in learning other languages. I think the language that I'm most interested in learning right now, after I learned Spanish, is Portuguese. I'm interested in learning Portuguese for a couple of reasons. One is that Portuguese is spoken in Brazil. I had a foreign exchange student friend when I was growing up that was from Brazil. I think it would be really cool to surprise her by speaking her language one day. The second reason I am interested in learning Portuguese is because people have told me that it's similar to Spanish. People have told me that Portuguese and Spanish have a lot of similarities. So I think that what I've learned through Spanish could be really helpful in learning Portuguese. The third reason I want to learn Portuguese is because if I learned Portuguese, I would be able to speak to 95% of the people in South America. That's an estimate. I know in South America there are many languages that are spoken, but from my understanding, the primary languages spoken in South America are Spanish and Portuguese. I want to learn Portuguese because I think it would be cool to be able to communicate wherever I travel in South America. I also want to learn Portuguese because I've heard that Brazilian culture is very outgoing, friendly, and fun. Another reason I want to learn Portuguese is that I have a very good friend that knows English, Spanish, and Portuguese. So I feel like she could maybe help me with my Portuguese. She's helped me a lot with my Spanish already. So I've talked about Portuguese. What other languages do I have interest in learning? Well, I'm interested in learning a little bit of Catalan. I'm interested in learning this language for a couple of reasons. One, I feel like it's a language that not a lot of people know. I think there are around 10 million people that speak this language, and it's mostly based in parts of Spain. My story on how I began to learn Spanish actually starts with Catalan. Catalan is a language that I heard when I visited Spain. I visited an island called Majorca, and I heard Catalan, or maybe their own distinct variation called Majorcan, on the island. Anyways, I heard this language and I thought that it was Spanish. And that's how I became interested in learning Spanish. I think it would be cool to pay homage to Catalan, since it's the language that got me interested in learning languages. The second reason I want to learn Catalan is because I made a friend that speaks it. She's been helping me with her Spanish because she speaks Catalan, Spanish, and English. I've been helping her with her English, but I think it would be cool to learn a little bit more of her language. I also would be interested in learning Catalan because it's a combination of French and Spanish, and I think that's interesting. I'm not sure I'd ever be interested in learning French. For me, I want to learn languages that I think I will actually use, and I don't have a lot of interest in traveling to France. There are a lot of other countries I'd like to visit before I would be interested in visiting France. I also have heard that learning French is very hard because of the pronunciation. And I've heard that a lot of French people prefer speaking English to Americans for many reasons. I'm not sure that my heart could handle trying to learn French. I feel like French people switching over to English all the time would be really frustrating for me. Besides traveling to France, I also potentially could use French if I went to parts of Canada, but I've heard that the French is different depending on where you're learning it. If you're learning Canadian French, it's a lot different than if you're learning French from France or from other countries. The other language that I have an interest in learning is Japanese. I'm not sure that I'll learn Japanese to an extremely high level, but I'd like to learn Japanese to maybe an A2 or maybe a B1 level. I think that learning Japanese is something I'm interested in simply because I was born in Japan. I was a baby when I left Japan. I was only 6 months old when we came back to the United States. But I think it would be interesting to learn some Japanese and kind of pay homage to the country that I was born in. I'm not really sure what other languages I will end up learning, but I'm always interested in learning languages in places that there's a lot of good climbing. I could see myself maybe learning a little bit of Greek or a little bit of the language spoken in Thailand. I'm sorry, I actually don't know if it's Taiwanese or if it's another language that's spoken in Thailand. But if someone knows, put it in the comments. Anyways, I would love to learn languages that are spoken in places with good climbing. Because for me, rock climbing is something that I love to visit other countries to do. I wish that I had started learning languages when I was younger. I wish that I'd started learning languages because language learning is something that takes time. If I had started learning languages when I was younger, I could have already known 3 or 4 different languages by now. But oh well. For now, I'm focused on improving my Spanish. My plan is to focus only on Spanish for another year. At that point, I'll have been very focused on Spanish for 2 years, and I think I'll be ready to start trying to learn another language? Probably Portuguese, but I'm not sure. I don't want to commit to anything right now. I'd like to get my Spanish to a B2 or a C1 level. For me, I'm not really all that interested in getting my Spanish to be as close as possible to a native speaker's. I would like to get to a B2 or a C1 level, which is fairly high, but I'm not super interested in making sure that my Spanish is 100% undetectable as Spanish that's not from a native speaker. For me, the most important thing is being able to communicate and make connections with people, and also be able to use my language when I'm traveling to make sure that we don't get lost, that we can get food, that we know what's going on around us. Those are the most important things to me with language learning. I think another reason I'd like to learn more languages is because eventually I want to start teaching English. I want to start giving online lessons to people, and it's helpful if you know more languages. It's helpful because you can explain things to people in their own language. So, we'll see how that goes. Besides English, what languages do you want to learn? Write them in the comments. I'm Courtney. Thanks for watching. And if you want another video to help you improve your English skills, you can watch this one next. Bye!